Hi, I'm Izzy, and in this video we're going to be doing our Sun Salutations B. Start at the top of the mat and we'll be starting with our mountain pose. Now, when very first starting, I like to really take a moment to center yourself into the mat. Feel your feet, so the toes, the heels, the outside, the inside. And I like to push my fingers down towards the floor, opening up that collarbone, and feel the drop from the belly button to the floor as much as the belly button to the ceiling. So we're finding that yin and yang. As you do this, you should feel all the muscles around the sacral start to release. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lifting the chest, and again, we're just extending from the belly button up towards the fingers. Begin to reach forward, and instead of overarching that low back, just extend without too much stress in any one area. So we're finding balance here. You might start to soften through the knees, allow the chest and head to fall heavy, and then we can bring ourselves down into that forward fold. Let the head hang. And again, on this first one, we may let ourselves be just a little gentle, linger a little bit longer, and we'll rise into a flat back. Now we can do this several ways. We can bring the hands to the shins, which you'll see some people where they just slide up. Often when we slide up, a lot of people are squeezing in the glutes. And we really want to draw up and out through the belly button, extending through the spine. So you can come up as high as you'd like. You can even push into the thighs to help that extension. Refrain from locking the knees and extend out. Exhale, lower back down. Releasing the head and neck. And as we bring our hands down, you might tend to your fingers, stepping the right foot back. Coming onto the toes, bend that front knee, allow the knee to be over the ankle. And here we're taking a variation. You can do a warrior one, or you can take the lunge. I prefer to take the lunge here. So push into that front foot, stable yourself with the back foot, squeeze the glutes together so that we're not letting this hip pop out. So we're gathering inward, and then pull up through the core. So feel that belly button lift, and it's okay if it's a little tight. It's okay if you're a little wobbly. You can always step in if you need, and then we'll inhale, reach it up. And again, let's linger here, settle in, take a moment, especially if your sun salutation is your morning practice, and allow yourself to really feel each posture, to settle in. And the more presence that we can bring in, especially in the beginning as we're learning, then we develop this strong foundation so that when we come into these postures, we instantly arrive instead of just moving through it. As we exhale, let the hands come down. We're bringing the hands back down. You can take that tent, let your hands drop. We're gonna step back into our plank. And from the plank, I normally recommend dropping the knees before lowering down, because often we don't have the best alignment when we first start out. So here, my shoulders are back, and that's a really common thing to do. I want to try to get the shoulders over the wrists. So I might lean forward just slightly. Pull the elbows in like you're going to squeeze your ribs, and then lower down. So here, if our form isn't as perfect, we're not hurting our low back. Bringing yourself down, you can slide through the knees, slide yourself forward, and then we're going to arrive into cobra. Keep squeezing those elbows in. That's a soft press into the hands. It's more of our back muscles in the back of our head lifting up, squeezing softly through the glutes, but extending through the toes. So take a moment here. Notice if you feel the pressure in one area of the back. We want to try to distribute. So we should be able to pick the hands up. That leaves us in a healthy range. So they get with that full arch. Again, extending up through the back of the head as well. And then release it down on the exhale. Taking an assisted push-up. Again, this is a personal preference and a strong recommendation to push through the knees, push into the hands, tighten the core. Start the inhale before you start the movement. Inhaling, pushing up, and a little modification. Take the knees out, big toes together. Take a moment in child's pose. Let your forehead rest on the mat and allow yourself to breathe through the ribs. Pressing back into the hands, tighten the belly, and again, start the inhale before you start the movement. As you rise up, we can then tuck the toes, tighten the belly, and with a big exhale, push yourself back into our downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, looks like a very simple posture, but it's actually quite complicated if we start to think about all the different ways that we can utilize this. So soft elbows, do not lock. Loosen the neck. Straighten the legs to whatever degree that you need. So they can also be very bent if your hamstrings are tight. That's okay. Downward facing dog, the purpose is to pull the belly button in and push the hips up, pushing the chest towards the top of the feet and really feeling most of the pressure riding down, falling down, sliding in between the shoulder blades. Take another deep breath. And then last time we had the left foot forward. So we're gonna step that right foot forward this time. So we can take a lift, and these are just some variations that you might see. I like this lift, the straight up, and it allows us to really pull that knee through. So big exhale, planting that foot, and we will arrive into our high lunge. And we're doing it on the opposite side, so this will leave us balanced. Pull that belly button in, and we can restack the spine. So imagine yourself zipping all the way up as you gather and inhale, lift. As you're here, you can settle in so we can set that strong foundation of what this pose should feel like. Knee over ankle, gather that hip in, deep breath. And then from here, we can bring the hands into a prayer. Take a deep breath and allow that breath to assist you in the movement. So the breath leads, and then stepping forward. And so that was one sun salutation. Now for me, I prefer to teach creating symmetry as much as possible. So since we started on the last one, stepping the right foot back. On the second one, we'll start with stepping the left foot back. So let's inhale, reach up. Exhale, as we come forward, really refrain from dipping into that low back. So try to keep the spine as long as possible as we hinge, soften the knees, and use all of your muscles gathering and working together as you release yourself down. Inhale, flat back. You decide how far you'd like to come, and you can always take a big step, especially if you're beginning. It doesn't have to be as graceful. Extend outward, belly button zipping up and in, extending out. Exhale, release it back down. Stepping the left foot back this time. Big inhale, and then exhale, arrive. Inhale, gather up. And then exhale, bring the hands down. Stepping back into your plank. And if you want to try it from that higher up position, shoulders over wrist, elbows squeezed in, and lower down slowly. Inhale, lift the chest. Roll the shoulders back, disconnect them from the ears. Push the elbows back and down and extend out through the toes so there's a lot of expansion. Imagine yourself pushing and pulling and expanding in all directions. And then lower back down, exhale. Lifting up through the top or the back of the head and the back of the heart. Push through the knees, inhale, push up. Exhale, push back to child's pose. This is a modification that I teach in my classes. Deep breath. Breathe into the ribs. Press into the hands. Roll yourself up. Start with that breath. Inhale. Exhale, tuck the toes, squeeze the belly button in and lift the hips up high. Again, soft bend of the knees, soft bend of the elbows. Loosen up. Let the shoulders and the ears separate. Pull that belly button in, push the chest towards the top of the feet. Let gravity slide down the spine. And then we'll lift through that left heel, lifting up. Draw that knee forward, big exhale. And then slowly roll yourself up. And so we can gather. You choose how you move through this. Pulling in, hands up on that inhale. And then bring your hands together, exhale. And then we can take that big step forward, inhale. Exhale and settle. This is your walk through your little tutorial on a Sun Salutation B. Be sure to look at the other videos where we can just move gracefully through it, and you get a little less on the how-to steps. You can utilize whichever video works best for you, and you can view it as often as you need. It takes time. The mind learns through repetition, and so does the body. So keep at it, do it as often as you can, and you will be there in no time. So if you are interested in learning more about yoga, we do have a beginner's course that is coming soon. You can check out all of our courses at FigLeaf.Yoga.com. That's FigLeaf.Yoga.com. And then we'll also be having yoga school coming soon, where it's going to be working on the energy of the body, energy healing, energy manifestation, and personal and professional development, as well as we move into yoga teacher training, or you can just attend it for your own personal and spiritual development as well. I'm Izzy, and I hope to see you soon. We will have so much fun in all of these trainings.